Hi everyone, this is Lori here from Lori Hooks. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So today is a Yarny Catchup. It's been a few weeks since I've been on. I've had a fair bit of time to crochet, but not a lot of time to record and that kind of stuff. So I thought that I would get on here today and talk about what I've been working on and some of my finished objects, as well as I have an acquisition. And we'll go from there. Anyway, so I'd like to say, thanks for coming by and visiting with me. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. If you could also like this video, that would be great as well. And also, if you hit that notification bell, you'll get a notification the next time I am on here. So let's get started. So first of all, I finally finished my rainbow sampler blanket. Now let's make sure we're showing you the right way up, and I am. And I'm sorry, Sophie, my pup, she is moving around. Hopefully she doesn't get too in the way. Sometimes she gets too close to me and she knocks the stand the camera's on, but we'll see how that goes. So anyway, so rainbow sampler blanket, it is finally finished. So the last time you saw it, the main body was done and I had the border left to do, as well as sew in about 1,000 ends. So I got this out a few weeks ago. I got in my head that I was going to try to work on some of my old WIPs and not, not start too many new things at that point. So I dug this out and sewed in those ends and got this border on, and now it's done. So I'll do my best to show it to you. It is folded in half, and it is, as you can see how wide it is way wider than my wingspan, and it's easily 6 feet long. I'll show you it in little patches. This blanket is a lot of fun to work on if you like sampler type blankets, as long as you don't mind sewing in ends. I'm actually showing it to the inside upside down. This is actually the top and the other end was the bottom. It's a lot of fun to work on if you like a variety of stitches and you find that you get bored working on projects that are too monotonous. Sometimes I'm like that. I like to have something that's a thoughtless project that I can just crochet, crochet, crochet and not think about what I'm doing and, work on it like that. And other times I want something a little bit more complicated that, I really have to put thought into. And I do try to have, at least one of each of those types going on at a time. So this was a lot of fun to work. I think if you ask me, my least liked aspect was this crab stitch around the last row of the border. When I'm doing crab stitch, it's like all of a sudden my hands forget what I'm doing. It takes me a little bit to get into it, and then once I get into it, I'm just mosey along, and then all of a sudden, bang, my hands forget how to go backwards. Which makes sense that they forget how to go backwards, but you'd think that once I was going, I would stay going, but sometimes, yeah. I just have trouble with that backwards single crochet of the crab stitch sometimes. So this pattern is the rainbow sampler blanket is available for free on the designer's blog. I can't think of her name right now. I did purchase the pattern because I wanted to print it out, and I purchased it on Ravelry. And I also bought the kit from Wool Warehouse, and if you buy the kit, it comes with Sheepy's Color Crafter. You certainly wouldn't have to use Sheepy's Color Crafter for this. You could use scraps, would be perfect. It would be a great scrappy project. This is a DK, so I think it would be really heavy if you were to work it up with a 4-weight. That I think a DK is better, but that's just my opinion. And for this, I used a 5mm hook for the body. I did the first round of the border also with the 5mm hook, and then I dropped down to a 4.5 because I thought that if I didn't, it would start rippling, which I'm glad that I did because I think it would have. So yeah, so that is my rainbow sampler blanket. It's finally done. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to gift it to somebody. I'm thinking I'll probably gift it to somebody. I just don't know who yet. So that'll be a decision down the road. But for now, I'm going to fold it up and put it away where it stays nice and clean. And I'll probably gift it to somebody somewhere along the line. So my next finished object is, I don't even remember what I was searching for. I was searching for something to do with gnomes and came across, I think her name's the Passionate Crafter, her gnome along that she's doing for 2023. She's releasing a gnome every month. And I thought, oh, that's fun. So I decided to take a look at the January gnome and thought that he was a cute guy and decided to do the January gnome. So I have all the yarn and everything with me, but not the gnome. Just a moment. So here is my finished January gnome. She calls him the winter gnome. As for him, I can tell you the changes that I made. She has a crocheted beard and I used felting wool for the beard as I usually do. And the other thing is that her nose was not that big. I like the gigantic nose, so I did upsize his nose. But other than that, I did follow the pattern. I used colors from my stash that I already had, so they weren't optimal, but I wasn't going to buy yarn for this. And I think the colors are okay, and he's pretty cute. Oh, the one other thing is she has more than one snowflake on his hat for an embellishment. I just did the one in hanging it. And the pattern varies a bit from what I usually do for gnomes. Like Pam Pino's gnomes, her bodies are usually a little bit smaller, especially on her older patterns. Her new ones, the bodies are a little bit rounder, more like this one. So I did the body on this is a little bit rounder than what they usually are, and I do like the rounder body. Oh, and I forgot, I did do some stimple stitch around the bottom here. But the colors that I use for him, and I use Sheepy's Katona. Her recommended yarn is a 4-weight. So for him, I used Sheepy's Katona, and these are the 4 colors that I used. And these colors are, I have them written down. 511, which is cornflower, which I think is this one. Nope, it's this one. 511, which is cornflower. 261, which is capri. 255, which is shell, and 106, which is snow white. And I only use the shell for his nose. His hands, as my daughter says, he's wearing gloves, so he has white gloves on. So he's done. I think he's really cute. My kids think that he looks like a wizard. My daughter says it's because of his beard. I don't know if it's the hat. Her hats are a little bit different. She's got some double crochets down at the bottom. But either way, I think he's really cute. She doesn't have the February one released yet, but she says she's going to release it before the end of January. I hope she does because she has posted pictures of it and it's very Valentine-y. She says she has a more complicated one as well as an easier one. I thought this was a fairly easy beginner pattern. A lot of people did say it was difficult for them. The snowflake was, I wouldn't consider that easy, but the body and the hat and the nose and those type of things, I think those were all pretty easy. But the February gnome looks like the simple version is a lot like the January one that's just using different colors and different embellishments. And the more complicated one might be a little bit different. So we'll wait and see what the February one is and see if I decide to make that. But that is my finished objects that I have to show you. And I did start a couple new things. So on the day that I did my last video, I had a yarn order coming in that day, and my yarn order was to replace some of my Sheepy's Katona that I'd ran out of, as well as this cake. So this is Sheepy's Whirly Whirl, and the color on this is color number 277, which is Bubble Gum Center. And this is what it looks like. It starts with this color that I've been using, and it works darker as it goes out. So my daughter had a, I don't know what you call it. It's a design made out of sticky notes, and it was stuck to one of the walls in her bedroom, and it was pretty big. She decided it's been there for a few years. The sticky notes have started to discolor, and sometimes they come off because sticky note glue doesn't work forever. So then she put them on the wall with other things. So now that she's taken them down, the wall doesn't look too great, but she was talking about other sticky note things that she could put on the wall, or other things that she could put on her wall. And so I said to her, well, they have these mandala hangings. Maybe you'd be interested in one of them. So she took a look at some different ones, and I will show a picture here of the one that she picked. But she decided to use her favorite colors, which it's not quite her favorite color. This is a little bit of more of a dustier blue than what she normally likes. She normally likes a really minty blue. But this is the mandala so far. So this should work up to using a 32-inch hoop. And right now I'm on round, I think, sorry, just a minute. Sorry about that. I think she's done barking. There was some people walking down the street. It's not allowed. They were walking too close to her house. So this should work into a 32-inch hoop. The mandala itself should be about 26 inches, and then you're supposed to pull it out to 32. Now, right now my gauge is a little bit off. I'm a little bit small. But I started with a 2.5 millimeter hook, and I just up to a 2.75, and I'm going to continue with that, and hopefully you don't remeasure gauge, but hopefully its gauge is better, because she tells you in round 5 how big it is, how round 10 and round 15. And at round 5 and 10 my size was pretty good, but then when I got to round 15 I was too small. So I'm going to make the rest with a 2.75, and hopefully its sizing will be okay. I'm looking forward to getting started with the other colors, because so far it's all one color, and I'm looking forward to seeing it come into the other colors. I suggested to my daughter that we pull some of the lighter blue out and start further back, and she didn't want to, but now that the color hasn't changed yet, she's getting impatient and she's wishing that we had. I told her it's too late. I'm not starting over again. It is what it is. So I'm on round 18. This goes to round 38. And the other thing I'm worried about is where I'm going to find a 32-inch hoop. So I didn't occur to me when I told her that I would make this, that it would be such a difficulty. And then when I start going and looking for one, it's going to cost me a fortune for a 32-inch hoop unless I can figure out how to make one myself. So when I was at my parents' house a couple weeks ago, I was telling my dad about it, and he had some pretty good ideas. So if I end up doing that, I will try to record some snippets for you and let you know what we did, because if you're ever interested in making one of these, excuse me. Excuse me. Had this frog in my throat. It's been going on for a couple days. If anybody else is interested in making one, then they can find out kind of a lower cost way to making a hoop, and hopefully that method is going to work, because I don't want to pay a fortune for a hoop. So that is my daughter's mandala so far. The other thing that I've been working on is I was watching Angelia on, I can't think of her channel name. I will link her channel below. And in a bunch of her videos, she wears a shrug. and I kept looking at her shrug and admiring her shrug and decided I think I need to make one of those. Now, this suggested it is a crochet crowd pattern, so it is free. And they suggest that you make it with Caron cakes. And it takes like 26 ounces, so that's a lot of Caron cakes. Well, I've been trying to stitch from my stash a little bit better. Hang on a moment. Let me go clear my throat. Okay, I hope I'm okay now. So as I was saying, I'm trying to stitch from my stash, and I thought this shrug would be good for, because I think this will be something I generally wear around the house. I might wear it to the grocery store if I already have it on, that type of thing, but I don't think, it's not gonna be something that I'm gonna wear when I'm visiting clients or something like that. So I think it'll be generally for wearing at home, and that because my office is absolutely freezing, and it would be a good item to sit at my desk and work on because I don't think the sleeves would be in the way. I have tried wearing like a shawl while sitting at my desk, and I find that it hanging kind of gets in my way when I'm sitting at my desk. So this is my shrug so far, and it has worked in the modern granny stitch. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't think I've ever seen Lori work in these type of colors, that's because you haven't. This yarn I got from a yarn swap that I did. It's probably in the spring last year we did the yarn swap, and I haven't used very much of the yarn that she sent me. It's like, you know, it's all the yarn swap partner that I got, she was in the States, so she sent me a bunch of stuff that you can only buy in the States. A bunch of, I love this yarn, I love this cotton, big twist, that kind of stuff that you can only get in the States. And so, you know, it feels like gold, like I can't, it's special yarn. I have to use it for special things because I can't buy that here. So the other thing I did with her was I didn't, you know, I told her what kinds of things I really dislike. Like I don't like blanket yarn, so that way she wouldn't send me blanket yarn, that kind of thing. But I didn't really get into my likes and dislikes of colors and stuff like that because I thought that way, my idea being that hopefully she'll send me things that are a little outside of my comfort or what I would generally, you know, purchase. And I think that's a really good idea for something like a yarn swap, because that way it kind of puts you outside of your comfort zone and maybe makes you try something that you wouldn't normally try. So if I had seen this yarn in the store, I would have never bought it. But now that I see it worked up, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really liking the color of it. So I'm really enjoying the project so far. There are 2 skeins in here so far, and this is, I love this yarn, and the color is Jazz Stripe. There's 5 ounces in each one of these. As I was saying, the project requires 26, so I'm obviously going to run out because I only have 1 more of these. I'm obviously going to run out before I'm done. So I thought that this color, which this is Big Twist Value, these are 6 ounces. The color on this was Eggplant, and I thought these worked really well together. So I think I'm going to use the rest of my 3rd skein. I just tied the 3rd skein on now. I think I'm going to use the rest of this 3rd skein, and then I'm going to continue with the Eggplant. And I hope I like the way it comes out when I'm done. I was trying to figure out if I did stripes, like if I did, you know, 4 or 5 rows of one color and then I switched to another color, you know, how that would work out. And I was having a lot of trouble figuring out because, you know, it's not worked in rows, it's worked in rounds. I was having a lot of trouble figuring out how much you would use when you get towards the end versus the beginning rounds, and I'm complicating myself. I'm complicating myself even talking about it. So I decided that was too difficult. we'll just use all of this one and then I'll switch to this, and I have one more of this. And hopefully I have enough for the project, and I hope I like the way that it comes out when it's done. So that is my shrug. I will link all these in my description box below for all these patterns. So I'm going to link the rainbow sampler blanket. I'm going to link that gnome. I'm going to link the mandala, and I'll link the crochet crowd for the modern granny. All of these were free patterns except for the mandala so far. So, acquisitions. I told myself I'm going to try to stitch from my stash. I'm going to stop buying stuff that I don't need. You know, it's different if I have a project that's specifically for somebody that I want to buy yarn for. But you know, they had these on sale and I somehow found myself in Michael's and I was buying it. What did I buy? I bought 2 of these. Here's the other one. So they're the same. These are Karen cinnamon swirl cakes. Yeah, cinnamon swirl cakes. Oh, hang on. Sorry about that. So that was a work call I had to take. So these are cinnamon swirl cakes. And I thought these were a limited time, but it doesn't say on them that they're a limited time. So that's interesting. The color that I got is hibiscus, and these are medium 4 weight. Recommended knitting needle is 5mm. Recommended crochet hook is the same, 5mm. Machine wash and dry, 100% acrylic. These are 8 ounces, 407 yards, 372 meters. And I do have something in mind for these you might see soon. I got these on Monday. I also bought something online on Monday that I'll show you guys soon. So much for not buying unneeded yarn. But yeah, I knew I would break down. I thought it would make it more than 3 weeks, but it is what it is. So that is my Yarny Catchup for today. I hope that you are all well. I hope that you are enjoying your projects that you're working on. I love to read your comments. If you'd like to write to me down below about what you've been working on or things in your life, whatever interests you. And if you have any questions, of course, comment on that as well, or send me an email. My email's also in the description box below. And I will see you next time on Lori Hooks. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.